Hi, welcome back to Life in Chapters. My name is Chia, and today I'm going to be filming a reading vlog. I'm going to be reading the Kindreds Curse Saga by Pen Cole. The first book is called Spark of the Everflame and Glow of the Everflame. These books have been going around TikTok lately, and I wanted to see what the hype was about. Because it's apparently a really good fantasy romance book that's about sort of like demigods, kind of. So I'm going to be reading the first two books of the Kindred's Curse Saga. I wanted to start reading these books because I've been hearing about it all over TikTok and also Instagram. And of course, the Fantasy Fangirls podcast was talking about this again, and I wanted to read what the hype was about. And also, if you guys are going through a reading slump, especially if you've read the SJM books, apparently this is really good to get over that hangover. So I'm going to start reading this book and tell you how I think about it. And it's told from the main female perspective by a mortal named DM. And yeah, let's get started reading. Okay, I have a reading update for you guys. I first saw this book being suggested on Kindle Unlimited because it's close to all of the other books that I started reading on Kindle Unlimited. So I started reading the book on Kindle, and then I started getting halfway through the book. So of course I impulse buy the physical copies on Amazon. So what we know so far is that the world starts off on the day called Forging Day, and it's told from the perspective of DM, the main female character, and it's Forging Day, and Forging Day is basically one day, I guess, like 9 siblings, kindred siblings, came down to Amerion, and they fell in love with mortal citizens, and instead of giving up their immortality, they decided to make a pact with all of their siblings to stay behind and give up their immortality. And because of that pact, it divided their realm into 9 realms. And this is the map that it shows at the front, which is very helpful, by the way. I like to visualize, especially if it's like divided into realms like this. Our main story takes place in the place called Lumnos, and DM lives in the mortal city with her parents and her brother. Well, she and her mom work over at the healing center, and they help a lot with the people who are injured and everything out there. And also, the way they describe the mortal city is that it's impoverished and there's a lot of people who are starving, and also it's not a safe place for anyone to walk around, and a lot of people have to turn to different means to make money. So on Forging Day, DM goes around to all of her patients that she checks up on every single day that she works for at the healing center. In an alleyway, she sees her mom arguing with one of the descendants, and that's the last time she ever sees her mom. And months go by, and she ends up having to take over a lot of the stuff that her mom left behind. Her mom is one of the more main important healers in the mortal city in the healing center, and she's the reason why that DM got into the healing anyways, because her mom basically forced her to become a healer. And so she's had to take over a lot of her patients. And then one of the things that she finds out that has the duty of her mom, the main healer for the palace. And so DM has to start taking over the healing over at the palace. And I'm about 200 pages in after reading it from the Kindle Unlimited and continuing with the physical version, and I really like it so far. The world is fully fleshed. I really like the fact that Pen Cole's writing is very descriptive, and I like how she described both the world in the mortal city and the world in Lumnos. There's a clear divide between the descendants and the mortal citizens, because the descendants are clearly the more richer ones. They have all the beauty, they have all the money. They live in palaces and have high-end clothes, and there's a clear stark difference between the two. And when that kind of stark difference happens, there's of course tension that happens between the two classes. So we're reading more and more about that. DM starts uncovering more of her mom's secrets, and her mom has been keeping a lot of secrets. And she is now with her dad and her brother Teller. Her dad was a former commander in the Amerian army, and in the Amerian army he was a big deal, and that's how he met their mom, was that she was also a soldier in the army, and they met and fell in love, and then they decided to retire over in the mortal city so that they can settle down and have children. And yeah, I like it so far. It's gotten me addicted, and also I'm already like 200 pages in. The lettering is not that The lettering is small, so even though despite the fact that it's like 421 pages, I'm actually going through this pretty fast. And we're at the part where I'm trying not to give too many things away because I do want you guys to read this yourself, if you're interested at least. We've reached the part where DM has had to take over her mom's duties over at the palace, and so she had to run over to the palace because there was an accident that happened, and one of the children of the descendants was playing around with their magical powers and then ended up crashing the roof over some children, and she ends up treating a little girl. There's a protective male over the little girl who's basically barking orders over a DM, and DM is snipping at him at the same time, and you already know where this is going. So she heals the little girl and she goes back to the mortal city, and she ends up finding out that the little girl is the princess, and the guy who was that she was arguing with and who was being very overprotective of her is named Luther, who is the princess's brother and also the crowned heir to his uncle's throne. So he's the typical brooding, dark, mysterious guy that you run into in these fantasy romance books. And we also run into a character named Henry, who's one of DM's childhood best friends. They eventually turn from friends to more than friends. But if you read a lot of fantasy romance novels, I've been scarred by a lot of them, so I don't tend to trust the first love interest at all. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, it looks like Henry has more feelings for DM than she does for him. And also, she can't even think about that fact because she's worried about her mom since she's disappeared and doesn't know where she went. They spent the day afterwards scouring everywhere, asking everyone if they saw her, and they hadn't. So I can't wait to find out more about this story. And I'll keep updating you guys. Okay, update. I finished Spark of the Everflame. Like I said, it was a pretty fast read. It's not too long. It's 421 pages. It's a lot of the events are pretty fast paced. So later on in the story, the second half of the story, we are finding more and more about the secrets that her mom had when she was treating the descendant, and Luther may be holding some of those secrets also because of promises that he's made. I didn't see a lot of interactions between Luther and DM, but you could tell by the little interactions they do have, it's gonna be a slow burn. And also they have the tension going on, and you could see that they're starting to fall for each other because of the little things that they point out about each other. As I mentioned before, there is a clear divide between the descendants and also the mortals, and that's causing some unrest, and they're starting to hear that there's some rebel alliances or rebel groups starting to attack certain parts of the city because they want to, of course, spark a war. There was a war that happened a long time ago, but the descendants ended up winning over the mortals, and a lot of the mortals died. DM's dad was a commander during that time. And like I mentioned before, he's the commander, and so he's taught DM how to fight, so she knows how to fight. She's very scrappy. She knows how to fight her way out of tough situations, and she's very intelligent. The second half of this book it has more action than it does in the first half of the book. And also, I can't wait to read the second book because it does end off in a big cliffhanger that reveals a lot of things about DM and will change her world. So I can't wait to start the second one. The second one is Glow of the Everflame, and we will see. I'm not gonna go over this too much since it is the second book in the series, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but I will give my overall thoughts, so I'll keep you updated. Okay, I wanted to give an update. I did end up finishing it. I was so interested to see what happened that I forgot to update. Okay, so like I said, there was a cliffhanger at the end of the first book. I like the fact that this book gave us more insight into how the Descendants world works. We meet more of the characters from the Descendants and we see their world more. We see it's a rich, lavish lifestyle, and a lot of the older Descendants like to run by certain rules that divide them from the mortals. We get more moments between DM and Luther, and we cover more things about Luther and his side and how his family has treated him over the years. He doesn't at all agree to how the mortals have been treated. And DM starts noticing that she actually starts becoming friends with a lot of these descendants, and then she has to overcome prejudices against these people and end up finding sort of like a found family between these descendants. I'm really liking how everything is turning out so far. But I do have some concerns though. The concerns are mainly with DM. She's very intelligent, she's a fighter. Her dad taught her how to be independent and strong, and all the healing lessons that her mom was able to teach her. She's very intelligent. She knows how to think through strategies before she does them, but through this book, I guess you could say that her whole entire world has been turned upside down, so I get that. But at the same time, girl, what are you doing? Some of the choices she makes and the reasonings behind it just doesn't make sense to me. And she doesn't realize that a lot of the choices she makes also directly affect the people around her. And I know that she has had some hateful reactions to a lot of the descendants before, and then since she met the people who have become her found family here, it's like she goes back and forth on whether to trust them or not, even though she decides that she does trust them, and then she goes back on her word and says she doesn't trust them. So the things that she does that goes back and forth, she does get a little bit better by the end of the book, and a lot of things do happen that allows her to grow and accept a lot of the things that are happening. But at the same time, I was screaming at the book the whole entire time, thinking, what in the world are you doing, DM? It's very frustrating to see such strong female representation in the first book, and to see intelligence and strength and fighting, and then to completely kind of like lose faith in her a little bit halfway through the book because of the choices that she's made. To be fair, like I said, she has gone through a big change, and it's very emotional, everything that she's going through, and it's like having to grow up. But at the same time, it's like she takes one step forward and 2 steps back. The growth does happen at the end, and there's another cliffhanger at the end too. So my overall thoughts in the series so far is that I do want to keep reading further into it, and also the 4th book is supposed to come out soon. The 4th book was supposed to come out on June 1st, but it was delayed, and then it was pushed forward to July 1st, and now it's pushed forward to July 31st. So I don't know what's going on with that, and the author has stated on her Instagram that she wants to put forward a good product, so therefore she wants to take time, and not only that, she has a lot of honing to do. I think the reason why is that I don't think they saw how big the series would get, because she independently published the series, and now it's getting huge. Oh, and also, if you want the series in a hardcover, Pencool has announced that the original form of the hardcover will be going out of print on June 30th. So if you want the current form of the hardcover right now that's still independently published, I suggest ordering it from Amazon. That's where I got mine. The moment I realized that I would really like these books, I ordered the hardcover because I saw on TikTok that it has sort of designs on them that I really like. I will hold off on reading the 3rd book because it is over 700 pages long, and also I want to wait until I have the 4th book in my hands because I'm not very patient. So if it ends off in a cliffhanger again, I don't know if I can wait till the 4th book to do that. So I think I'm just gonna wait until the 4th book is in my hands, and then I'll do another reading vlog if you guys are interested. But anyways, overall I give it a 4 stars for now, and we'll see how the series ends. It's just that the thing that I would like for the series, for the next 2 books to have, is a lot of development for the characters, and also I want more scenes between the 2 love interests. It's a fantasy romance. It's more heavy on the plot than it is the romance currently. Oh, and I forgot to mention, some of the descendant characters are so funny. One of the characters that I love is named Taryn. Taryn has a brother named Eamon. They're completely opposites and major sibling rivalry going on, and they don't get along whatsoever. I feel like it's been like pitted against them since they were kids because of their dad. Taryn is the more approachable one. He's a typical funny, arrogant, woman-loving, flirting with everyone kind of dude, but he ends up striking a friendship up with DM. It's really cute, their friendship, and he's hilarious, so he's become my favorite character so far. And I really do like Luther as a love interest, so I'm excited to continue the series. Okay, thank you for joining me on this reading vlog. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!